Brady. This is going to be exciting.
And the ARCA restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the breadbasket of all that is stock car racing in North America as we are here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching the Goat Locker Racing Club Station ARCA Series right here on V-Speed, and as we head to Charlotte Motor Speedway, Jacob Lenke here in the Western Division looks to build on his performance from last week at Texas Motor Speedway in the AM Division. He finished 7th overall. Meanwhile, Tim Peters took home the checkered flag after overtime with Brett Bieber and Logan Threlkamp following him on the podium. Tonight, as I had mentioned, we're in the breadbasket of our sport just outside Charlotte, North Carolina, home of all things stock car racing. So settle in, folks, and let's get ready to roll. I'm Dave Regal alongside Sky Shrek in the broadcast booth and Eddie Smith on the ones and twos and everything in between, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag right here on V-Speed. And, you know, Sky, folks, just a quick peel behind the curtain to open things up here, but you're going to be getting action from both the Eastern and Western divisions this week in the GLR ARCA Series, and, you know, it's going to be a little bit of a building of the airplane while it's in flight, but if there's anybody I trust, it's going to be Sky Shrek and, of course, Eddie Smith being able to get us through all of this. So, Sky, what do you have going on in the Eastern Division as we're going to be able to peek in on both of these divisions tonight?
Yeah, you'll be running ARCA West tonight. I'll be over on the ARCA East side. We've got some great drivers on both sides. Obviously, ARCA East was the main race we got to watch last week, and we got a great one there. This time, we're going to be seeing some familiar faces in the field, guys like Travis Bieber, Mark Cofield, Mark Whitley, always a threat to try to win in this series. He led a bunch of laps last week at Texas. Jake Ham, Jacob Ellingson, drivers who have made their names on Fridays in the Premier Truck Series, who are coming over to ARCA to try and run in this ARCA East Series here tonight. Great mix of drivers all through the field. Really excited for our 80 laps at Charlotte here tonight.
Yeah, 80 laps and 65% fuel to get around this mile and a half. And, you know, we talk about our schedule and how diverse this schedule is. And let's just take a quick peek at that as qualifying getting underway here. You know, for starters, we're here at Charlotte tonight. Now, last week we were at the mile and a half Texas Motor Speedway. And, of course, we opened the season at the big one, Talladega. But next week is where we really start to shift gears. And it's almost like we've gone from the giant to the not so big to the small and compact. We go to Richmond next week, of course, right in Virginia, and then just after that we go to New Hampshire before turning our attention to the road courses. And, some folks, they think, I'm not really a big road course person, but Watkins Glen brings the excitement. And then we start to expand once again on those track sizes. We go to Dover, Las Vegas, Iowa, a little bit shorter. But, it's almost like this season is a roller coaster of track sizes and styles. And quite frankly, folks, this is one of those situations, or one of those, scheduling situations that I think is just perfect for competition here in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series.
Yeah, and there's so many good tracks on that schedule. We're running such a wide variety. I mean, you've got short tracks like Richmond. You've got those road courses that you mentioned, like Watkins Glen, and then Kansas, Milwaukee, two very different tracks here towards the end of the season. So we're going to see a lot of great racing. As I mentioned a couple times, we got split divisions here between Pro and Am, so we'll have drivers running for two separate championships here over the course of the playoffs. The West race is going through qualifying right now, and we'll be getting that to you in just a moment. Over on the east side, got 15 minutes left to go in practice. We'll be staggering these races so we can bring you the finish of both of them. And right now, Mark Whitley, once again, seems like the car to beat, running the fastest time by 0.02 of a second in his 74 car.
Meanwhile, we're going to take a quick peek at our track info. As I had mentioned a moment ago, 1.5 miles here around this quad oval situation in Concord, North Carolina. And of course, 24 degrees in the turns, which isn't too terrible, but it's also certainly not easy to navigate. 5 degrees in the backstretch. And that quad oval, that's where we're going to see some interesting angles here, as a lot of drivers coming out of turn 4, when it switches to that flat part of the quad oval, the rear end of some of these cars has a tendency to pop out of line, especially if you don't feather it just right on turn exit. But, this place, of course, was a brainchild of a couple of different folks in the NASCAR world. Of course, Humpy Wheeler was a big part of NASCAR here in Charlotte and in and around North Carolina, and we just lost him about a week ago. And, this place, just a couple of miles from a bunch of race shops, it's literally across the road from Hendrick. And, this is just a playground, as we can now see the split screen here on V-Speed, thanks to Eddie Smith in the production truck. And folks, this is something that you aren't going to find anywhere else. There is nobody else on YouTube or anywhere on iRacing that we've found so far that can do the split screen and do it this well.
Yeah, we had a great time. We were calling both races at once last week across both the West and East divisions. We'll be splitting it up a little differently this time around, but we will try our best to get you the action from both races here. If West goes under caution, we'll probably switch back to East. Same with the other way around, and we will try to bring you the finish of both races here tonight on V-Speed in the ARCA Series.
Yeah, peeking in here on the Western Division, we see right now in qualifying going to be about the 28, I believe that is, that's Stephen Heights, as we boogie around this piece. And Heights, right now timing in at 18th, but sitting on top of the timing line for right now is Barrett Morton. And, Barrett has been a strong driver over the last at least 2 seasons that I've been following along here. And the Louisville, Kentucky native right now leading the way with a 29.2 second flat running time. And then Logan Threlkeld, who finished on the podium last week, he comes in with 29.25. So Morton's still able to beat the second place driver now by 0.05 of a second, as qualifying has concluded. And we're ready to grid up here on V-Speed for the Western Division. Sitting on the pole and, of course, getting that Jam Printing and Promotion Pole Award is Barrett Morton, driving his number 9. And, of course, we want to thank our friends at Jam Printing and Promotions out of Plainfield, Indiana. They are veteran certified, and when we do well, we could do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they sponsor the Pole Award across all of our series this season. Logan Threlkeld going to join Barrett Morton on the front row, starting in second. Moving on to row number 2 is going to be Huling Kauser in third, and Joseph McWhorter, one of our stalwarts here, rolling off in fourth. Row number 3 going to be made up of Chance Taylor and Tyler Justice in his 33. Starting second on the inside of row number 4 going to be Casey Jones and Jeremiah Holt starting in 8th. Jeremiah Holt, another huge component here to this league. Jason Kristen, he's going to be starting in 9th on the inside of row number 5 with George Jewell rolling off the starting top 10 here in the Western Division. Daniel Park starts in 11th with Corinne Smith, starting in 12th. 13th goes to Brock Price and Charles Abert in 14th in row number 7. Row 8 going to be held down by Jacob Lanke and Charles Stevens on the outside of row number 8 in the 94. Row number 9, is going to be Noah Hoagie Hogard in the 158 and Stephen Heights, who we just saw qualifying a moment ago in row number 9. But rounding out the starting top 20 going to be Timothy Peters and Ashton Azaro Nolan. Peters getting that AM win last week. As 21st going to be Armando Malgosa and Chuck Pegleg Feltz starting in 22nd. Douglas Macedo and Dave Calvert going to be in row number 12. As we still have more to go here, Kevin Price and Larry Poling in 26th. Hayden Muir and Alan Berg in the Allen Experience rolling off in 28th in row 14 with Brian Frauheiger starting in 30th. And it looks like so far Sean Kaiser and Josh Unger not taking the start at the time. So Frauheiger, he's actually going to be rolling off in 30th instead of 32nd. 80 laps the scheduled distance, Sky, and this is going to be a long one for some of these drivers. As Barrett Morton now here in the 9 machine, the iRacing.com pace car lights are off. That means we'll be going green flag racing as we move into turn number 3. 80 laps, 65% fuel. That's going to change that fuel window to somewhere in and around 30 to 35 laps on the good side. So we should see about 2 rounds of pit stops should we go green. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road, and the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, and off we go at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Logan Threlkeld wasting no time getting a push from Joseph McWhorter in the 72, and the 9 of Barrett Morton now gets a good edge here, making exit out of 2 and down the back chute. As we head down the backstretch, these drivers going to be looking for all kinds of real estate, as now we see on the high side the 30 of Logan Threlkeld finding the speed. They go nearly 3 wide behind him. Watch the 33. Good God, that's Tyler Justice working his way along the high side, and the 73 of Jeremiah Holt trying to get in between the 14 and the 34. That's Chance Taylor and Casey Jones. They are 2x2 Noah's Ark style for row after row here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You're watching the GLR Glove Station ARCA Series live on V-Speed. Dave Regal here in the broadcast booth as we work lap number 2 tonight here at Charlotte. As we take a look here at the 91, that's Huling Kauser, and Huling now working here on the low side. Everybody making it through the quad oval pretty easily here in these ARCA cars, while Timothy Peters comes back here and gets the fast time. We go on board now. We go on board now with Huling Kauser, and Kauser getting around this piece pretty simply and holding his own here in the 91. Just barely can see out that fender. Oh, geez. The 33 of Tyler Justice. And now he works through the quad oval and turns lap number 4 onto the books. As I had mentioned a moment ago, Timothy Peters was fast time, but now it's Charles Habert out of Chehalis, Washington. And Charles here, who's been a longtime driver in the Glove Station ARCA Series, working his way along here in the 7 machine. As, a rub of the wall here, deeper in the field. They go 3 wide. That's going to be trouble. Watch the 37. The 37 just gets shoved up by Noah Hogard. That's Jacob Lanke in the 37. And he was just pushed up into the wall. He maintains that momentum and keeps it moving. Now Lanke had designs on trying to split and make this thing 3 wide, but he thinks better of it as now he's all but bump drafting the 43 of Brock Price down here through 3 and 4, and as they roll out of turn number 4 back to the quad oval, it looks like it's going to be a side-by-side drag race between the 71 of Daniel Parks and Brock Price of the 43. We work here on lap number 6 at Charlotte Motor Speedway on V-Speed. You're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series live on V-Speed. And here on lap 6, we've got a drag race while Joseph McWhorter is starting to step away from the field, as now all of a sudden he's going to be under attack from Logan Threlkeld. They go side by side. He thought he could get a little bit of a bump here, but Threlkeld holding his own. Santa Claus looking to make the delivery, as now he's going to go door handle to door handle with the 72 of McWhorter down the back chute. And McWhorter has Barrett Morton all in that rear view mirror. As we've got a three-way battle for the lead. We go on board now with what looks to be the 9. That's going to be Barrett Morton. As Morton holds his own on the low side, he's not trying to step out. He's not doing too much as he gets pretty close to McWhorter. The 91 of Hulenkhauser just behind the 9. All of a sudden, he's trying to make it a four-way battle for the lead, as the 9 now of Barrett Morton works his way down the back chute behind Joseph McWhorter. McWhorter gets off the throttle, but gets a good run here in the transition between 3 and 4. He gets the edge on turn exit out of turn 4. Logan Threlkeld on the high side keeps it moving. We're working lap number 9 of 80 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Joseph McWhorter holding his own on the low side. He's not going to be put to bed early, and he's not going to let Logan Threlkeld threaten him, as now Threlkeld goes to the low side. He looks here. He can waggle his fingers through the window net at McWhorter, as now McWhorter nearly puts the fender there on the right rear of the 30. They come rolling out of turn number 4 and back to the quad oval. These drivers are doing a great job keeping it moving straight, keeping it moving in a good fashion. Nobody being put into the wall intentionally, that's for sure tonight, as they are still drag racing for the lead here on lap number 10. Chance Taylor from New Bern, North Carolina, almost a local track for him, is looking on from behind, and they're still going at it here up at the front of this pack. Joseph McWhorter out of St. Robert looks to the low side. Looks to the high side, as the low side occupied by Logan Threlkeld. These drivers are giving each other just enough room, but still not going to be attacking one another. And it makes a lot of sense, at least to me, that you're going to go out there and fight fair. You know, you don't want to sit there and put the fender on somebody and wreck, an innocent bystander's race. And now as we work lap 11, Barrett Morton getting alongside of McWhorter, as the Louisville, Kentucky native sets his sights on the rear bumper of the 30 machine driven by Logan Threlkeld. And the 91 of Hulenkhauser still working just underneath Tyler Justice. And Justice out of Byron, Georgia, now starting to draft up behind McWhorter. Gives McWhorter a little bit of a bump. Whoa! As Brian Frauheiger has to get out of the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana. That Ninja Turtles machine is a speed bump at this point, holding up traffic as we take a look here at Tyler Justice. Tyler Justice driving the number 33. Currently running in 4th position overall. We take a look here at Brock Price driving the 43. Now, Brock is running 9th overall in the AM, but in the AM division, he does lead Jacob Lenke by about 7/10 of a second. Brock Price, of course, has had a great career here in the GLR ARCA Series, brought to you by Glove Station. And all things considered, I think that he's one of these drivers that can hold his own against anybody, as he's just behind George Jewell, or at least being timed behind George Jewell. But overall, these drivers are going to be running neck and neck. And even with that half second now back to Jacob Lenke, I wouldn't be afraid of anything as we can go inside the 43. You can see the 34 just in front of him, and he is door handle to door handle with the 36 of George Jewell, working lap number 15 now of 80. We go on that front fender, and this is such a cool camera shot. Big thanks to Eddie Smith, who gives us all of these great camera angles. As he rolls out of turn 4, he's got all kinds of momentum coming down the back chute and into turn 3. As we head back on up here into the lead, side by side goes Joseph McWhorter and the 30 of Logan Threlkeld. And if we could go on board now with Barrett Morton, check this out from behind. Barrett Morton is watching this from behind, and sometimes I feel like he's Matthew Brady during the Civil War, just taking pictures of this battle going on. Look at this. These guys are dogfighting down into 3 and 4, and they're not getting up on one another. This is probably the cleanest good racing I've seen on iRacing in a long time. And, you know, of course, you catch that a lot here in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series. And really, Goat Locker Racing on the whole is a great organization for good racing. Of course, we want to thank our friends here at Goat Locker Racing. Head on over there to goatlockerracing.org/donate. And as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing, Inc., we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause, helping military veterans and first responders. And we thank you for your generosity. Now Barrett Morton being shuffled back here into fifth position now, as he's had to check up. Huling-Kauser running the 91 in third position for the time being, as suddenly these leaders through about those top 6 cars have gone single file, and now they're all starting to go single file. You have to start to wonder if these drivers can feel those tires giving up, you know, and maybe really wearing in as we're 18 laps in. Oi, this was nearby. This isn't going to be good if they can't hold on to that. Now all of a sudden, just as they were all going single file, we get shuffled out 2 by 2 as we go on board here. Barrett Morton in the 9, running in 6th position. He's just underneath the 18 on his racing line and just above Barrett Morton in the 9. He looks on from behind as Barrett Morton, running in 6th position, drives away from him. And now opening the door, that's the 34 of Casey Jones, ready to assault the 9. Casey Jones running the high side. They go wheel to wheel coming into turn 1 and 2. And all of a sudden, these drivers are starting to find how these tires are reacting, especially when we take a look at our track temperature here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's going to be the exact same when we head over to the East Division, but 75 degrees on the asphalt under the lights. I mean, the track conditions themselves are just this side of perfect. It's a great night in the race car. The scary thing is what that can do is make some of these drivers a lot more aggressive than they have to be, but they're playing it good. Nearly contact between the 34 and the 36 as they are side by side ready to bang off of one another, but they hold it steady here on lap number 21. We're already a quarter of the way through this race, and we're 10 minutes from after the green flag dropped. You know, this is one of those situations. I called a race on Wednesday night for another league, and those folks over there did almost as good as GLR does. And these drivers here at Goat Locker Racing know how to get it done. As we peek up here to Joseph McWhorter, all of a sudden we go under caution for the first time tonight. Looks like Kevin Price may have gone off track here, as he is going to be limping away in the 80 machine. The Findlay, Ohio native, maybe not too happy. Let's pull up that V-Speed instant replay and take a look at what happened with Price. We see him coming out of turn 4, and he's on that flat section of the quad, and just gets his clock cleaned. So he never registers as having crashed, but definitely not the way that you want to do that. I'm trying to go back here and see who might have caused that one, who he came in contact with. He was alongside the 14, and it was the 42, Ashton Azara Nolan, who I catch here doing that one. So obviously maybe not a very happy driver there for the time being. As we go back live here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, we want to thank all of you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. And we are going to send things over to the Eastern Division to my partner, Sky Schreck. Hey, Sky, ready to drop the green flag over there, huh?
Yeah, we're getting ready to go over here. Qualifying has just finished, and looking on your poll for tonight's race in the ARCA East Division, it's going to be the winner of the Pro Division last week. That is the 74 car of Mark Whitley. He'll roll off next to the 46 of Sean Kaiser, going from P2. In P3 tonight, it's going to be the 85 car of Jake Ham. Samuel Yosef, your amateur winner last week, finished 4th. He'll try to run that back here, starting 4th this week. Mark Cofield goes from P5 tonight in the 97. Jacob Ellingson, 6th in the 27. Christian Angel, P2 last time around at Texas. He'll go from P7 next to Ryzen Baker in the 77. Ken Huber in the 40 goes from 9th with Travis Bieber in the 114, rounding out your top 10. Daniel Cunningham in the 88 will roll off 11th tonight. Patrick Fuller in the 13 from P12. Brandon Wallace in the 99 goes from 13th, and James Goshen in the 085 starts in P14. Sedarius Dias rounds out your top 15 there in the 45. Conrad Whedon from 16th in the 20. William Gregory, 17th in the 32, and your second place in the amateur division last week, Alan Smith, will have a lot of work to do as the 00 comes from 18th. Mikhail Jones will go in the 02 from 19. Kyle Deering will go from 20th in the 50. And the last 8 cars on your field here will be Jamie Libke in the 16, Benjamin Richards in the 56, Andrew Carnes in the 19, Ricky Sisk in the 12, Joshua Unger in the 51, Tim Wilms in the 86, and the last 2 cars on your field are Colton Sisk in the 2 and Doug Ellingson in the 58. Every driver taking a qualifying time here tonight, so everybody valuing starting position at a track like Charlotte where it can be a little bit difficult to pass in these ARCA cars. Same settings as ARCA West for our race over here in the East Division tonight. These drivers are going to have 65% fuel load. 4 tire sets in the race. One of them is on the car. That means they have 3 chances to change it back in the pits. And before we go green, Conrad Whedon has just disconnected from the session. So that was your driver who's going to roll off P16 in the 20 car. And he will not be rolling off at all tonight unless he can get that fixed. Problems early for one of your drivers before we even took the green flag. Track temp tonight will be a little colder, 70 degrees. 67 air temperature, and then a little bit of humidity out here, 91%, but that won't affect these cars too much on the racetrack. Mark Whitley had a great start to ARCA East last week, won the race at Texas. It's another 1.5 miles this time at Charlotte, so he thinks he can repeat. He showed himself in the summer series how fast that 74 car can be. I would not be surprised if he is able to find his way back to victory lane tonight. But he's got a couple more challengers. Sean Kaiser, Jake Ham, always quick. We've seen him struggle a little bit in the ARCA car, but we know he has speed. Samuel Yosef will try to back up his AM win last week. Jake Ellingson also rolls off P6. Great talent all through the field here tonight. And as the pace car rolls out of turn 4, we will get ready to go in ARCA East. We're going to hit the tri-oval, and the green flag is out for Mark Whitley and Sean Kaiser. Oh my gosh, we have a car flipping down the front straightaway. We have not even made it into turn 1, and there is a massive pileup. Oh my goodness. That is one of the ways that you can start a race here on iRacing. We'll get an instant replay of that. It started pretty far up the field because you've got drivers like Jake Ellingson involved in it. Let's see what happened to that 27 car. Ooh, contact with Ryzen Baker turns him into the wall, and it all piles up from there as the 19 car goes over. That's Andrew Carnes, started back in 23rd. Going for a wild ride here before he even hits turn 1. That is not something you see every day for the driver of that 19 car. We'll get an on-board shot here. As I said, started back in the field in 23rd, so not a great starting position for him anyway. And yeah, this is certainly not how you want your first lap to go. Flipped in the air off the bumper of the 00 of Alan Smith. One of 10 or 11 cars caught up in that crash. I feel like at a certain point it's going to be easier to tell you who wasn't involved in that crash compared to who was. There were a lot of cars involved in that thing. I mean, Joshua Unger took some hits in iRacing, scoring him in 12th. So I would say about 10 cars maybe made it out of that unscathed. Everybody from about Sedarius Dias in 10th on up. And then you've got 18 cars finding themselves affected in this by one method or the other. Luckily, a lot of these drivers will have that faster pair, so they will be able to fix those cars and get them back out on the racetrack. But that is just not how you want it to go, because you got to waste that faster pair pretty early on into the race. Seeing 2 EOL penalties given out for Benjamin Richards and Ryzen Baker. And while we pace under caution here, we'll send it back over to Dave at ARCA West. How's it going over there, Dave?
Well, we just went green flag racing on lap 25. We worked lap number 30 now. Joseph McWhorter is our race leader. He's got about 0.2 of a second over Tyler Justice. And they were just all single file through the top 15 and now started dogfighting again as side by side as Huling Kauser and the 30 of Logan Threlkeld. I feel like every time I see Logan Threlkeld on the racetrack, he's battling it out with somebody. Charles Abert back in the 7 machine, he just laid fast time down at 29.19 seconds while we were watching the Eastern Division. Of course, you are watching the GLR Glove Station ARCA Series Western Division right here on V-Speed with Joseph McWhorter, your race leader. And we want to thank all of you for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. We also want to encourage all of you to head on over to Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we are committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs. From tinkering on home DIYs to working on industrial environments and everything in between, we've got you covered. With endless amounts of safety products on the market, we want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. And of course, a huge thank you to Glove Station for getting us on the air every week and bringing us right to your eyeballs here as Brock Price decides to go at it with that fast time driver Charles Abert out of Chehalis, Washington. And Abert being pushed down into turn 3 by the 36, that's George Jewell. So a couple of drivers almost working together here. Taking a peek at our standings right now, Daniel Parks leads the AM division now as he runs 6th overall. He's got about 0.1 of a second over Charles Abert. So all of a sudden, this becomes a really close battle between the 71 and the 7, as these two drivers are going to be fighting it out. Something fierce. You can see the 71 with just a little bit of an edge now. You know, Joseph McWhorter, we know, is kind of setting sail. And one of the folks that we talked to a couple of weeks ago mentioned that, you know, once you can see it's Joseph McWhorter or Mark Whitley over in the East Division, you know that you're fighting for second. But here in the AM Division, you're fighting for that AM win, as Daniel Parks now leads George Jewell and Charles Abert running in 5th position. So he's decided that he might want to try for that overall win. We're still waiting for that natural AM driver win, as the 91 of Huling Kauser running in 4th position, 4th overall that is, gets ready to battle it out now with the 71 of Parks. And, you know, Parks now just barely looking up that top 5. He's looking at a real trip to the podium tonight, and he's not ready to be put to bed early. He's got to get Barrett Morton in the sights next, does Daniel Parks. As we work here on lap number 36 of 80, you're watching the GLR Glove Station ARCA Series West Division, and Daniel Parks running P4 right now overall, with let's just see here, about 1.3 up to Barrett Morton, while there's suddenly a battle breaking out for the lead. Joseph McWhorter and Tyler Justice drag racing down the backstretch, when McWhorter for the time being has the edge, but if Tyler Justice can just take some of that momentum away from him on the low side, he can really nab this lead away. As McWhorter, somebody who's not used to having somebody battle him out this hard, really has to wheel this machine around. A pair of Chevrolet bow ties leading the way. As now we work here on lap number 38 of 80, approaching that halfway point. 21 minutes in, and these drivers not ready to give up as they drag race into 3. And as they roll from turn 3 to turn 4, Tyler Justice out of Byron, Georgia, looking to make life difficult now for Joseph McWhorter. They come into the tri-oval, and suddenly we have a 3-way battle for the lead as Barrett Morton wants a piece of this action. The interesting thing is that while these 3 drivers are up here battling it out for the lead, Daniel Parks in the 71 has taken this, this battle in front of him and used it to his advantage. And that 1.3 second lead that Barrett Morton had over Daniel Parks has now dried up to 0.92 seconds between Morton and Parks as we work here this battle for the lead. And that means that could open the door for Daniel Parks to make this a 4-way battle for the lead as we go under caution for the second time tonight. Chuck Pegleg Feltz is backwards here, facing the wrong way in the quad oval. Let's take a look and see what happened here as we go to the V-Speed replay. And Chuck Phelps driving in the 75 just gets turned. Oh, that's going to be a rough one from the 34. That's Casey Jones we're going to watch here. Oh, yeah, Casey Jones just gets a snoot full of that left rear quarter panel and spins Phelps down here helplessly to the infield. And Chuck Phelps cannot be a happy camper, as that does bring out our second caution of the evening. As we go under the second caution of the night, we also want to thank our friends at Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are, of course, the title sponsor of the Fall Series and a huge partner of GLR. As here in the Western Division, we are under our second caution of the evening. What do you say we peek in over here with Sky Shrek and see how things are going in the East?
Yeah, I fear we are also under our second caution of the evening, except ours comes on lap 8 in ARCA East. Crash involving Travis Bieber and Doug Ellingson. Ellingson just kind of got up the racetrack, turned Bieber around. Looks like the 52 escaped without too much damage. I don't think either car really took too much damage there, but Bieber will have to go from the back, and Ellingson is going to lose a few positions over the course of that accident. We'll go back green here on lap 9, and we'll look to get one green flag lap in the books. It'll be the same cars up front because we haven't had too many passing opportunities here so far. Mark Whitley and Sean Kaiser still make up your front row with Jake Ham in third. Samuel Joseph lost a couple spots on that last restart, slid it back to 6th, promoting Mark Cofield to 4th, and Christian Angel third on the inside there in P5, trying to make good on his second place finish last week and maybe do one better and snag himself a win here this week. We'll go back green here on lap number 9. You've got Mark Whitley, you've got Sean Kaiser, and the pace car is going to dip himself down into the pit lane. All we got to do is wait for the restart zone, and Whitley will jump. We'll see how good of a jump he gets. So we cross that line, and he takes off immediately in that 74 car. Good jump to get clear of the 46 of Sean Kaiser. Mark Cofield, it's a pretty good jump there on the outside. He'll get around Jake Ham in the 85, so it's Whitley, Kaiser, Cofield, Ham. 1, 2, 3, 4 up front, and then you've got Christian Angel running back there in P5, trying to make that position work. Cofield leading your amateur drivers right now by just 2 spots over Samuel Joseph in the 65. Way up the track there is that 85 car of Jake Ham working on Christian Angel. Angel is trying to pass that 85 car at the moment, and oh, major side draft. Ham is not going to let him go. He'll slide into the middle here. A little lower than he was running in 3 and 4. And try to see if he can get that spot out of the corner. Not quite happening right now. There you go. Ham gets clear for P4, and he will shoot it right back to the high side. Whole different line what the rest of the cars up front are running. Samuel Joseph trying to follow him through there on the top. Make that move on Christian Angel and get himself closer to the AM leader in this race, Mark Cofield, who is now under threat from the 85 of Jake Ham there for P3. Battle's going all throughout the field right now, but we're still watching this top 6 as Jake Ham gives a huge shove to Cofield. We're on board with Samuel Joseph here, who's going to look to the bottom, trying to go back-to-back in this AM division, and he's got side-by-side with Christian Angel. It's a bad run out of the corner for the 79. That'll keep him ahead for P5 at the start-finish line. We'll see if Angel can side draft or if Joseph is going to have the advantage here looking down into turns 1 and 2. They're still door-to-door right there. Oh, Joseph up the racetrack a bit, and that'll be big for Angel, who taps the fence but still easily has the better run and will be able to get out into P5 right there. Jake Ham still back running that high side, trying to sneak his way into a top 3 position around Mark Cofield in the 97, and there's contact with Christian Angel. Jake Ham around through the infield. No caution on that one there as Ham spun it off the racetrack, so we will stay green at the moment, and I think we'll stay green for a little bit here after that one. major shakeup in the top 5. I don't think Jake Ham is going to be too happy, as he's going to have to go all the way back through the entire field here for another shot at Christian Angel. Meanwhile, a gap has opened between your top 2 cars. As a result of that, it's now Mark Whitley and Sean Kaiser doing battle for the lead of this race and the lead of the AM class, or lead of the Pro class, excuse me, with AM driver Mark Cofield sitting right behind him in P3. And you've got Samuel Joseph back there in 4th, and gaps are opening up to Angel and Huber running behind those drivers here tonight. We stay tight up here to the top 6. Get a battle going a little bit further back. We're door to door for P11 right now, P12 right now. Colton Sisk, William Gregory going at it for that position right behind Doug Ellingson, who's running in 11th at the moment. You've also got Libke and Jacob Ellingson back here going on in P13, and then Michael Jones and Kyle Deering is going on behind that. So we've got a couple battles all throughout the mid-pack that we're watching. Now a battle starting to form a little further up as Christian Angel is trying to make a move happen on Samuel Joseph. He had the outside there, but he wasn't able to get that move done. He'll lurk behind that 65 car as he will try the side draft here in 1 and 2 all the way in the middle. Gonna try and hurt that 65's run off the corner, and that is a move on the outside at Charlotte done to absolute perfection there from the 79 of Christian Angel to get himself up to P4 ahead of the 65 of Samuel Joseph. He'll now look to the outside of Mark Cofield and try to get himself around both amateur drivers. This might actually open the window for Samuel Joseph to challenge for the lead of the AM class. Let's see what he can do. Both drivers are slowed up by a slow entry from Angel in front of them, and they are going to stay side by side off the corner. The 65 has the natural advantage because he's going to exit the corner on the top, and he'll have that draft from Angel in front, and he's going to try to sneak his way to the bottom. That was close. Barely finding his room down there is Samuel Joseph. What a move. Caution flies further back in the field. And we have a pretty big crash. Conrad Whedon, Jake Ellingson, Tim Wilms all involved in this. Try to see what caused it. Oh my goodness, Ellingson cannot catch a break there. Late contact, very late contact for Jake Ellingson from Jake Ham. So we're gonna see what happened here to the 27 car of Ellingson as we exit the corner. Not been a great race for him. He was involved in the first accident, took a ton of damage, and now it's contact from behind with the 2 of Colton Sisk, and that is a huge hit for that 2 car. Piling up Ellingson, piling up Whedon. Quite a few cars involved in that accident, and Ellingson already had to take his fast repair. He might be done for the night. Jake Ham is collateral damage in that accident. What a hit. Jake Ham will get the EOL there for the ARCA break of the century, one could call it, there in that 85 car. I mean, 27's coming down the track, but that is a bit quick to be going under caution on lap 18, and that 85 car is destroyed. He's going to have to take a fast repair in order to get that thing fixed. We're going to send it back over to ARCA West now, where they are back under green flag racing. How's it going, Dave?
Well, I'll tell you what, Sky, it's been an exciting restart here after our second caution of the night. We went green on lap number 45. Right now, Logan Threlkeld leads the way by a little bit less than 0.2 of a second over Huling Kauser, but that's not the way that this looked at while we were way over here over with you in the Eastern Division. Suddenly, single file goes the 91 and the 30, and the 30 now starting to gap him by 0.2 of a second as the 91 being challenged by the 33 of Tyler Justice. Overall, looks like these drivers want to try to get this thing wrapped up in about 30 laps, and they want to do it in short order. An interesting restart here is Threlkeld did restart in P1. He was challenged for a few moments. And, you know, the other odd thing here is that Joseph McWhorter restarted in P6 and now runs back in 13th. So I'm not sure if there were any problems there with the 72, or if he's just kind of letting things cool down as he's running just in front of Noah Hoagie Hogard, as all of a sudden we're battling out for the lead as Tyler Justice out of Byron, Georgia, overtakes Logan Threlkeld in what seems to be just the blink of an eye. Threlkeld, it almost seemed like there was a parachute on the 30, as now he's having trouble battling Huling Kauser as they go side by side. And your new race leader is Tyler Justice, watching these battles behind him in the rearview mirror, and that's got to be intimidating, especially when you can look out that rear and see all 5 and 6 of these drivers just staring you down, and Threlkeld being swallowed up now as they go 3 wide. He goes between Barrett Morton and George Jewell as he sinks deeper here. So he could be on older tires, and he is, as Threlkeld did stay out. He was one of the few drivers that didn't come out or come in for pit service. He hasn't been in since lap number 23. So it's not working out well for him, as we had mentioned here. Peters jumped off to a good lead, but then was challenged by the 43. We now work single file Tyler Justice over Julian Kauser. And all of this going on, and there's a caution, as I just saw timing and scoring doing a little bit of a pirouette here. The 37 of Jacob Lenke coming through the infield. Let's take a look and see what happened here for Jacob Lenke. Lenke coming down the backstretch as he comes into turn 3. He's working just underneath the 1. Oh, it almost looks like he got sucked up into the 1 just by pure aerodynamic accident. And then, of course, makes a little bit of contact and sends himself down onto the infield. So not major damage as we go take another look at this from the inside now of Charles Abert looking from behind. We can see the 37 working just behind the 1 of Eldon Stewart. And, you know, like I said, it just looks like the air coming off of the fender of Stewart. Oh, Abert driving right through the 37. Didn't really have a chance to react there. But, you know, basically the 37 getting sucked up into Eldon Stewart doesn't do anybody any good, and the Toledo, Ohio native going to have to go on a little bit of a recovery drive as we have another rash of wholesale pit stops here on lap number 55. Looks like about 7 drivers staying out. Barrett Morton comes down pit road. He's going to slide into that pit box. The 91 already beating everybody off of pit road. That's Julian Kauser. We kind of park things down here, and everybody coming off of pit service. They want to come in here. This is just about the money stop, if anything. Most of these drivers should be able to stay out the rest of the way. The question is going to be, did those top 6 drivers, anchored by Alan Bergen, actually Alan Bergen and Corinne Smith, did these drivers here maybe gamble and roll on the wrong number, as a couple more drivers now trickling off of pit road, as everybody now going to have to scamper up here and get in line behind who is our race leader, Tyler Justice out of Byron, Georgia. We perch here in turn 4. The iRacing.com pace car leading these drivers, where the top 7 stayed out. And I'm going to call it now. This is that Alan Bergen bonehead move of the race for him. We do issue a boneheaded award for him when he does dumb things, and this could be one of them. But the 89 here running in P6 out of House Springs, Missouri, following Tyler Justice. Now, we just saw a moment ago, you know, other drivers that stayed out not having a good restart there after that last run. So the question suddenly becomes, was this a mistake? I mean, you know, you've got 50% on those tires left. You're going to be having liquid rubber come down pit road if you try to come out any further. So that opens the door for Julian Kauser, running P7 right now, to just drive through every single one of those top 6 and be able to do it in the blink of an eye. If we could go to that split screen here on your left with the AM and Pro divisions, let's take a quick look here at those Pro and AM standings. Right now on the Pro side, Tyler Justice leads the way. Of course, you can see that here. Chance Taylor in the 14, but Alan Bergen trying to go out there for those AM points and maybe try to get that AM win, as he leads David Calvert and the 10 of Corinne Smith. Charles Abert and Jacob Lenke round out your AM top 5, as it's going to be Tyler Justice, Chance Taylor, Joseph McWhorter, and Charles Stevens, your top 4 on the Pro side. As the iRacing.com pace car gets ready to drop on down pit road, we're going to have green flag racing once again. as Justice watches that hard left turn from the pace car driver. Justice with control of the field hits the Geico restart zone. He's going to drop the hammer, and off we go on lap number 56. There's 24 to go now on 57 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Tyler Justice with a good start over Chance Taylor and Joseph McWhorter. The question really becomes, can Tyler Justice hold off the rest of that field? Now, Joseph McWhorter, I've got no doubt, could hold off the field with half his brain tied behind his back just to make it fair. But, right now running P3 in this gaggle of cars that stayed out, this is a dangerous call by anybody's standard as we work on lap number 57. Tyler Justice now going single file over top of Chance Taylor, and they're battling it out behind him for third and fourth as we have caution once again. And I think that's Doug Macedo there in the 173. Let's take a look and see what happened, as it looks like Brock Price and Doug Macedo may have gotten involved in something. They were side by side a moment ago, and here they are just making contact coming out of turn 4, and the 43 gets shoved up in there. That's Brock Price by Doug Macedo in the 69, and of course, the 69 just getting plowed down through the quad oval, and of course, the 43 waits somewhat patiently for the 69 to get out of the way. As we work here on lap number 59, we're going to head on over to the East Division. Sky, what's going on over there, and how's that race working out for you?
Well, we literally just went under caution for Kyle Deering backwards on the front straightaway as we were sending it over. We had some pit strategy going on here where everybody came down for pit stops, but there were a couple different strategies. Sean Kaiser stayed out along with Benjamin Richards. And then we saw a couple two-tire calls from guys like William Gregory, Brandon Wallace, who were able to move up through the field. This is the incident for Kyle Deering. It's going to come off of turn 4 here. Ken Huber is going to move that 77 Horizon Baker up the racetrack, and Baker is just going to get into the rear of Kyle Deering and cause an accident there. A couple cars involved. Looked like some damage maybe for that 88 of Daniel Cunningham as well. But he seemed to get away without too much of a hit there to the front end. And I think that 88 car will ultimately be pretty okay. Maybe a small hole in the nose, but that could have gone a lot worse for the driver of that 88. We saw some good racing up front. The top 5 is the same as it's been for a lot of the night, where you have Mark Whitley, who has dominated this race from the pole, sitting up front. Christian Angel rolling in P2. Samuel Joseph P3. Brandon Wallace P4. Sean Kaiser P5. And then you had a couple amateur drivers, Sidarius Dias, William Gregory, running 6th and 7th, trying to challenge Samuel Joseph for the win of the amateur class here tonight. Running through the rest of your field here in pro, you've got Sean Kaiser. Ken Huber sits in 9th at the moment. Daniel Cunningham going from 10th right now over an amateur. Cofield, that is Mark Cofield, sits in 8th in that 97 car. Really tight battle for the top 4 in AM. All sitting 3rd, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then you've got, obviously, Benjamin Richards back there in the 56, currently sitting in 5th in class. Couple pit stops here, not too many, but it seems like some of the cars further in the back of the field and the cars who did not come down last time are going to come down and get some gas and get some tires. Sean Kaiser foremost among them. And he will bring down with him Travis Bieber, James Goshen, Alan Smith, William Gregory, Benjamin Richards, Ricky Sisk, Tim Wilms, Jamie Libke, and Ryzen Baker, and it looks like a couple other cars as well. So a pretty full pit lane there, all things considered. Your top 10 from Mark Whitley to Joshua Unger in the 51 in 10th will stay out here. Their tires are going to be 14 laps older, and it's a two-tire call for James Goshen ultimately in the 085. That's going to vault that car up the field a little bit. We'll see if he's able to make use of that extra positioning to get himself a little further up the field here in this ARCA East race. We are going to send it back over to West. I believe they are getting ready to take the green flag again in that one with 19 to go.
Welcome back to the Western Division here in the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series. right here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It'll be 19 to go when we go back green flag racing. The top 5 here in this pit cycle stayed out. And that's the 33 of Chance Taylor, Tyler Justice, Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, and Dave Calvert Sr. And we can see why some of these drivers stayed out. I mean, you know, if you look there, and it was just there, you know, some of these AM drivers, they want that track position. They're trying to battle it out and maybe become the natural winner, or at least take a ride to the natural podium tonight. As the green flag flies, Tyler Justice almost gets a bump from the 72. The 94 does give a shove to the 14 of Chance Taylor, and we're back underway. As it's going to go the 33, 72, and 94 on the low side. Chance Taylor looking for a way in. These drivers are really going to have to stick, wow, I can use words, stick together tonight if they want to try to hold off these drivers running in P5. But this battle for the lead just heating up now as Joseph McWhorter on old tires is battling with the 33 of Tyler Justice. Now, if there's anybody on this racetrack that I trust on old tires, it's going to be Joseph McWhorter. The driver out of St. Robert now just over top of the 94, nearly touching. They go coming out of turn 2 and down the back chute. They are door handle to door handle, getting ready to haul it into turn 3. All of this is going on, and Tyler Justice is scurrying away as we go under caution number 5. Caution 5 tonight, and I see somebody rolling away. That's Doug Parks. Daniel Parks. Yep, I can read. That was a tough one. Let's take a look and see what happened with Daniel Parks here in the 71. Now, he was just over Wolf. And all of a sudden, bad things happened here as he gets spun by the Marlboro lung dart machine. That's Ashton Azaro Nolan. And Nolan sets up to the low side here, and it looks like maybe a touch of net code. I don't want to be the one to try to make that call. But I didn't see a whole lot of contact here if we can get right over top of him. There wasn't a whole lot of contact, if any at all. We watch the Marlboro machine come just underneath. And yeah, there was no contact. None. And I got to be honest, it didn't even look like the 42 was on a trajectory to make contact there. That's going to be a race control decision. And of course, you know, race control has got to be the most thankless job in all of esports, at least here on the iRacing.com servers. We want to make sure that we thank our race controller, Rob Kubat, and of course our series directors, Jake Ellingson and Dan Craigkeel. As not a whole lot of drivers coming down pit road, this is suddenly becoming the late in the race story now, with your top 4 staying out for the time being. That's Tyler Justice, Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, and Chance Taylor. As we take a look at that running order here on the left side of your screen, Tyler Justice leads the way. And, you know, you almost have to wonder to yourself, what kind of a track position game are they trying to pull off here? Because many of these drivers last came in on lap number 54, some on lap 59 like Alan Bergen. So Bergen out here with actually some of the newer tires, as well as Corinne Smith, Jason Kristen, and Doug Mastedo. But Tyler Justice leads the way with Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, and Chance Taylor on old tires. It makes me wonder what the call is here and why, especially this late in the race. I just feel like this is a really big gamble for many of these drivers. And of course, we also want to make sure that we tip our cap to our Warrior Spotlight. Of course, Hamza Khan served in the U.S. Air Force for 6 years as a ground radio tech. He deployed to Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and was stationed at Mountain Home Air Force Base in Idaho, and Osan Air Force Base in Korea. We are proud to have him here at Goat Locker Racing, and of course, we appreciate him. You can check him out. He, of course, one of our racing rig recipients here at GLR. And folks, you know, just as a major, you got to look at it this way. Every dollar that you donate at Goat Locker Racing goes to where you believe it to be. You know, it's not like when you donate to the Red Cross and 80 cents of every dollar goes to administration. Every dollar that you give goes to our cause at Goat Locker Racing. And of course, you can head on over to goatlockerracing.org/donate. And as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing Inc., We make sure your donation does go directly to supporting our cause of helping military, veterans, and first responders, and we thank you for your generosity. As we get ready to go back green flag racing, it'll be 15 to go here in the GLR Glove Station ARCA Series West Division. Of course, Sky Shrek holding things down over in the Eastern Division, and the guy directing all of the traffic tonight on the ones and twos and everything in between is Eddie Smith, who at this point, if he doesn't have octopus arms like Dr. Octopus, then he's going to need them, especially to flip between both of these races. So huge tip of the cap to him and everything that he does here on V-Speed. The iRacing.com pace car dips out of the way. Tyler Justice with control of the field comes into the quad oval. We see those blue and white lines. That signifies the restart zone, and off we go. Contact between the 14 and the 72 as now Chance Taylor pushes Joseph McWhorter down the front stretch and into turn one. That opens the door for Tyler Justice to kind of scamper away here for the time being, as drivers as far back as Julian Kauser and Chance Taylor are looking for an edge. But it seems like Joseph McWhorter and Charles Stevens are almost forming a wall that keeps these drivers on the new tires checked up and behind them, as contact between the 73 and the 30, that's going to send the 30 down onto the infield. That's not going to make anybody happy. We stay green flag. Nope, just kidding. Here is the caution. That was Logan Threlkeld in the Lucky Santa machine. And I can't see who that is. It looks like Kevin Price maybe. In the 71, it is Daniel Parks in the 71. Let's watch this from the rip, as we see the 71 of Daniel Parks working over top of the 82. The 82 gets a run. Wow! That was way too fast for comfort. We're going to look at this from a couple different angles, as we're going to have the time for it. We see Casey Jones just underneath the 37, and Casey Jones looks like he's going to get checked up. Of course, the 30 is down in the infield. The 37 comes down into the 34 and off. Wow! Thank goodness this is a simulation, because if that was real life, that's a slow, careful drive back to the infield care center. Watch the 30 here of Logan Threlkeld. He's got Barrett Morton and the 73 just in front of him. And while all of this is breaking out, the 30 and the 73 make contact. That's the impetus, and the 34 goes to check up, the 37 goes to check up, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. And the 34 is just punted down the racetrack by about 3 other cars. And if Casey Jones is in VR, somebody needs to get his puke bucket for him, that's for sure. As this late in the race now, with just 11 laps to go, Tyler Justice opts to stay out. Tyler Justice, Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, and Chance Taylor, they all stay out. Their bed's made right now. There's no chance that they're going to come in with 11 to go. You know, maybe they would have had an opportunity if they would have come in maybe, you know, somewhere in the 60s lap-wise. But at this point, they don't have any choice but to stay out and see how the dice are going to fall here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And you're watching the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA Series Western Division. And meanwhile, we're going to quick poke our eyes over here to the Eastern Division and Sky Shrek, who is patiently waiting.
Yeah, we've got a battle going on for 1 and 2. Mark Whitley and Christian Angel are really putting a hurting on the rest of the field right now. They've pulled out a 1-second gap to the cars behind them. Those drivers on newer tires like Travis Bieber, Timothy Wilms, doesn't seem to be working too well for him. Bieber is the first one of those drivers. He's running 8th overall, 5th in the Pro Series right now, so he's going to need a little bit more to get himself up the field. As we're side by side for the lead of the race, Christian Angel trying to end Mark Whitley's dominance. He's led almost every lap of this thing in that 74 car. Angel is going to try to slip his way up the inside. Doesn't quite work there out of 4. He'll have to re-rack and try that move again here before too long. We're past halfway now as we take lap 45. Big gap is open to Cofield, Huber, and Brandon Wallace, who are in a tight battle for 4th, 5th, and then Sidarius Dias in 6th back here. You've got Wallace maybe trying to switch back down to the inside, thinks better of it. Here comes Samuel Joseph on the top, door-to-door with Sidarius Dias, and then you've got Bieber and Wilms going at it behind them as well. Battles going on towards the back half of the top 10. Let's see what Joseph can do. Ooh, Bieber tried to split the difference there. Couldn't do it through the middle. Dias still rolling on the bottom. Joseph still rolling in the middle. And then Bieber back there sits in 8th. And that 114, and he's going to turn Joseph in the 65. No caution, but that car is very slow on the track. Oh, it's destroyed. Can he get it back to the pits? No, he can't. Contact with the 56 of Benjamin Richards and Kyle Deering and Jake Ham. And this is going to be a caution for the 65 car. Couple cars are destroyed. Doug Ellingson also heavily involved in that one. We're going to send you back to ARCA West, and we'll get the last 10 laps of that race over there.
Thank you, Sky, as we are 10 to go, now 9 at the line, as Tyler Justice takes the green flag. The top 4 here in this piece have not been in since lap number 41. So they basically, at this point, spent all but 30 laps on these tires all by their lonesome. And now with 9 to go, they've made their bed and they've got a lay in it. Tyler Justice now trying to gap himself away from Joseph McWhorter, but McWhorter's not going to be put to bed early tonight. What these top 4 drivers have done is, oh, they're wrecking. Oh, George Jewell is around, and they are all over the place. The one machine of Eldon Stewart, Hayden Muir, slow to recover. The 69 of Larry Poling. But the 37, I think, also took a good lick here. Let's take a look at George Jewell and what happened in this. As George Jewell was running just inside the 91 of Hewlin Cowser. And Jewell, in this battle, comes into 3, and the 91 just taps him. Ever so gently taps him. Oh! And then the 1 finishes the job. Good gravy. It's almost exactly what you folks just watched over on the East Division. You know, you think you're going to be all right, and all of a sudden you go from this won't be too hard of a drive back to the pits to it's going to be a long, painful drive to get back and hit that faster pair. And that's one of the magical things about iRacing. As we take a look here from the lung dart machine of Ashton Azaro Nolan, as he's just over top of the 37 of Jacob Lenke, and he comes into this mess and thinks he's got it until he don't got it. And I think, and as he catches Jacob Lenke again, he just spent all of those Marlboro miles at once, as he's going to have to bring it back to pit road for repairs. The meatball has been issued for Eldon Stewart and Doug Macedo. And Hewlin Cowser, George Jewell, and Alan Bergen just came down pit road. The story, though, right now is going to be the fact that Tyler Justice, Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, and Chance Taylor have not been in since lap 41. And I'm telling you right now, Joseph McWhorter, already an impressive driver in this series. And if he's able to pull out the win on tires that are, 13, 14, and in some cases 20 laps older than somebody else on this racetrack, I mean, he's the GOAT of Goat Locker at that point, the greatest of all time, to be able to hold it off on these tires. And quite frankly, I'm sure if we can go on board right now, I'm curious whether or not he's cycling to save just a little bit of fuel as we work here with now 7 to go. I'm watching those RPMs, and I don't think he's even saving fuel. Watching these RPMs, nope. I think Joseph McWhorter knows just how many ponies are under this hood and knows how he's going to get home. And if that's the case, then he's the wizard. I'm going to have to call him McWhorter the Wizard at this point. As we work with now just a few laps left, 6 to be specific. And we're going to take a look here. Side by side, they are 2 by 2. Going to be Tyler Justice, Joseph McWhorter, Charles Stevens, Chance Taylor, Timothy Peters, your top 5. Barrett Morton, Logan Threlkeld, Dave Calvert, Jeremiah Holton, Charles Abert. That's your top 10 as we get ready to rock and roll. David Calvert and Charles Abert lead the way in the AM division. Noah Hoagie Hogard running in 3rd. And, you know, the interesting thing is if you look here at Calvert's running 8th overall. Now, last week, our AM winner finished in 7th overall. So that seems to, at least over these last 2 weeks, be the neighborhood that we see that. And as Tyler Justice comes into the quad oval, pace car is down and off. Tyler Justice takes the green flag, and off we go with what will be 5 to go at the line. Here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, you're watching the Glove Station ARCA Series on V-Speed. I want to thank everybody for tuning in as we are side by side fighting our way into turns 1 and 2. Tyler Justice leads the way. And now Tyler Justice with a good lead over the 94. Oh my. Tyler Justice now trying to gap Joseph McWhorter by less than a tenth of a second. They're side by side behind them. All of a sudden we've got battles all over the racetrack, and the cameraman can only catch so much at once. But this battle for the lead is going to heat up now with 4 laps to go. Tyler Justice leads the way down the back chute. Joseph McWhorter running in P2. Chance Taylor now battling it out for 3rd position with Charles Stevens in the 94 crawling up into 4th. Taylor with 3rd. They go single file with Tyler Justice, the Pied Piper of Charlotte for the time being. The 18 of Timothy Peters falls single file with Barrett Morton just behind. As they're ready to duke it out with 3 laps to go, they come out of turn 2 and down the back chute. Once again, Chance Taylor goes side by side with the 94 of Charles Stevens. They're still single file. I'm waiting to see who's going to make the move and who can be the aggressor here as the 94 of Charles Stevens widens things out here. Side by side, and Chance Taylor kisses the wall. We come to the line. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go at Charlotte Motor Speedway. George Jewell lays fast time down at 29:07. He's too far away to make a difference, as Tyler Justice now has just 2 laps to try to hold off Joseph McWhorter in the 72. And McWhorter is like a shark in the water. He's creeping up to the high side, now peaks to the low. Justice drops down in front. McWhorter liable to spin him out. He loosens him, though, as they come into the quad oval. The popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. Joseph McWhorter goes to the high side and makes his move. He's side by side. They can touch each other through the window netting, as the 33 holds on for dear life, now having to play defense against Timothy Peters in the 18. The 18 trying to make a difference on slightly newer tires than the 72 and the 33. As they now touch, the 33 makes contact with the 72 and coming out of turn 4 and into the quad oval. It's going to be close, but it looks like Joseph McWhorter just barely edges out Tyler Justice here on the final lap at Charlotte Motor Speedway, followed by Barrett Morton, and Dave Calvert is going to be your AM winner as he finishes 9th overall. So it's going to be McWhorter, Justice, and Morton in a thriller here at the very end of the West Division Glove Station ARCA Series race at Charlotte Motor Speedway by 3,000th of a second. 3,000th of a second. This bears witnessing as we go back maybe to take a quick peek at the replay. Joseph McWhorter ready to burn it down here at the start-finish line. We've seen this before. Let's go back to the replay while he smokes these tires, and it doesn't get much closer to this. The 33 of Tyler Justice was banging doors with the 72. This is what Charlotte's all about. And I mean, from that camera angle, it almost looks like it was different, but iRacing never makes a mistake when it comes to timing like that. 3,000th of a second for Joseph McWhorter. He led just 31 laps, with Dave Calvert being the AM winner for the evening. He finishes 9th overall. So a big congratulations to Dave Calvert, who picks up the win tonight for the AM drivers here in the Western Division. And now as we wait for our podium finishers to come here into the waiting room, there's Joseph McWhorter. Hey, Joseph, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, let's make this short and sweet. You just battled it out here on that last lap and win by 0.003 of a second. Could you even see daylight between yours and Justice's car?
Hold on. They were talking in iRacing. I'm not sure what you said. Man, that was a very, very, very close finish. I really didn't think we had it there for a second, but kind of shaking on that one. I wasn't sure on who got it.
Yeah, I mean, they're slowing it down now on the replay. And when they say by a nose, I mean, literally the splitter just barely crossed the line before Justice did. I mean, dude, 0.003 of a second. All I can picture is that you were white-knuckled praying.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, I've got adrenaline going right now where my hands were shaking at the end of that. I'm still shaking right now. Like, that's a good way to get the heart rate up. Man, I was getting frustrated every single time that I get to Justin and try to make a move. We'd have a yellow, and man, it was getting frustrating. Finally, we had a good one, and luckily the guys behind us got separated, so I can actually just sit there and try and attack the 33 and didn't have to worry about anybody behind. And then I think it was Chance Taylor that came up, and I think he made the right move, deciding not to put himself 3 wide with me and Justin. I think pushing one of us was the right decision, just that way we didn't wad everybody up. So good heads up racing by Chance on that one. But yeah, I thought I was gonna get ran into the wall coming out of 4. I was trying to hold him as tight as I can. I wasn't lifting, and it didn't sound like he was lifting either. So luckily we just had a good clean drag race to the line there.
You certainly did. I mean, and just an incredible, performance, especially not having been in for tires or fuel since lap 41. So congratulations, man. I mean, you definitely pulled this one out of a hat tonight. But before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight on the 72?
Yeah, I want to thank Outlier Speedco. You get to see them on the front of the car. Amazing setups. Go check them out at outlierspeedco.com. And I think V-Speed now has a deal, so if you go into the description of V-Speed, you can use their affiliate link and go directly to outlierspeedco.com. So go check them out. redcameraracing.com. Go check them out for all your needs for real life racing, fire suits, helmet, shoes, anything you can think of that you need on a race weekend. Go check them out at redcameraracing.com. 29 Graphics. Go check them out on Trading Paints at 29 Graphics. You guys for putting on the broadcast, all the admins for the hard work. Really good race at the beginning of the race by all the drivers, so good job to them. And oh man, need to catch your breath and get ready for next week.
All right, my friend, congratulations. We thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week. Hey, Dave Calvert, it's Dave Regal up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, listen, congratulations on picking up the AM win. You finished 9th overall, but first in those AM standings. How does that feel as a driver who, had a lot of work to put in tonight? And we lost him. I don't think he should have done that. Well, folks, as our AM winner just bailed, and here he comes. This is what being a good producer is all about, as Eddie Smith grabs Dave Calvert back. Hey, Dave, it's Dave. You got me?
About that, I don't know what I did there, but I'll try not to do.
All right. Well, long story short, you pick up the AM win tonight. How does that feel? And, what's that going to mean for the rest of your season?
This is my first time even being on the podium. So this is outstanding for me. Most exciting thing I've done in iRacing for sure. So sure do appreciate all you guys and what you do. I've been watching my son race on here for 3 or 4 months and had to jump in, and it's been a great time so far.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Well, listen, before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight here on the 90 team?
Well, definitely my son. Thank the good Lord, and Goat Locker for sure. And I know I'm forgetting somebody. I apologize. This is all new to me. Definitely wasn't prepared to win. That's for sure. So, but thank you guys very much.
All right, my friend, congratulations on the AM win. We'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's going to wrap things up here in the Western Division. Let's head on over to see the culmination here of the East Division with Sky Shrek. Sky?
Yeah, great battle for the lead. Mark Whitley just hit the fence, and that gives the spot to the 79 of Christian Angel. Ken Huber trying to pounce in that 40 car in third. He's trying to get up to second up the inside of Whitley. He'll run him up the road a little bit, but Whitley ultimately has the advantage out of that corner, and he will take P2. All of these drivers up here pit on the same lap. There are a couple drivers on slightly fresher tires further back. We'll see if they end up playing a role in things. Your top four are all on 4 tires. William Gregory, another 2-tire call for that driver. He sits 5th at the moment, leader of the AM class, but Sidarius Dias is side by side with him now for that lead. Paddles going on all over the racetrack right now. Dias and Gregory trying to sort out leader of the AM class right ahead of Sean Kaiser as Jamie Libke has dropped back to 7th behind both of these cars in this battle for P5 on the racetrack. Dias will get it right now over William Gregory, and that'll demote that car a couple spots back. Big slide for Mark Cofield in the 97. Good job by him to keep that car straight as he does battle with Timothy Wilms, and Wallace does battle with Cunningham, and we're side by side for everything. Huber tried to get a run on Mark Whitley for second right there, but he got cut off, wasn't able to make that move happen. He will sit back in P3 for the time being, and he'll run a little bit of a higher line because he's under threat from Sean Kaiser. He's trying to steal a spot on the podium now in that 46 car. Driver started second, trying to get back up into top 3 over Huber, who started up in 9th, but Huber does a good job to defend on the outside there, and he will ultimately hold that spot as we exit turn 4. Single file up here through the front 6 now. It's Angel, Whitley, Huber, Kaiser, Dias, and Jamie Libke in these top 6 positions. And then you've got Cofield and William Gregory there behind this battle. Cunningham, Wilms, Wallace, Goshen, Bieber, Alan Smith, and Colton Sisk, the rest of your top 15 cars at the moment. Trying to get side by side here for P5. We'll see if Jamie Libke can challenge Sidarius Dias. No, she won't. Caution has flown. Try to figure out what this is for. That is for Travis Bieber down on the inside of the racetrack. Some problems for that 114 car. Gonna have to get a replay and see how that happened. He was running around 10th at the time of that caution. On the outside of the 085 of James Goshen. Let's see what happens here. Oh, Goshen kind of just gets into him. Turns the 114 around, and he is backwards in turn 4 and into the inside wall. So we will get a restart here inside of 10 laps to go in ARCA East. This race has gone a little bit slower than the one in ARCA West. We've seen some more cautions here over the course of the night. Angel will fake a pit stop, but Whitley will bite. And Mark Whitley is going to come down with 11 to go. I'm not sure how many cars are actually going to join him in the pit lane here. William Gregory and Daniel Cunningham have both opted to come in, but I mean, other than that, it's some slim pickings. You've got Brandon Wallace into the pits. Ryzen Baker, Patrick Fuller, Conrad Whedon, the other drivers on the lead lap who have opted to come down at the moment. So an interesting strategy call right there. We will see if it works out for Mark Whitley. See if he's able to get himself back up through the field. Coming after this set of pit stops, he will cycle out in P12. So he is going to need to make up 12 spots in about, I'd say, 8 laps of green flag racing here if he wants to win this race. That is going to be extremely hard to do for the 74 of Mark Whitley. We're going to see if he can get it back up to the front here. He's certainly going to be driving his head off, trying to get that thing back up to the front of the field and try to win this race. It's going to be very exciting to see what Mark Whitley does to try and get back-to-back wins here in the Glove Station ARCA East Series over these last couple of laps. Daniel Cunningham, Brandon Wallace will also come out of the pits there as well. And up front, it'll still be Christian Angel and Ken Huber, your top 2. Sean Kaiser and Sidarius Dias will sit 3rd and 4th. Dias currently the leader of the AM class here tonight. He's looking to try to bring home his first win of the season in that AM class. Looking a little bit further back, you've also got Jamie Libke, Mark Whitley, who was being scored in 6th for some reason, and I was reading off the ticker, but now he is going to drop back to 12th on iRacing, where he is meant to be on this restart. It's Mark Cofield sitting in P6, with Timothy Wilms up 26-7, and he's been in some accidents along the way as well. There in 7th, Alan Smith trying to challenge for that amateur lead. He was 2nd last week. He's gone from 18 to 8. He's arrived at the right time. James Goshen, Colton Sisk are up there as well. So we will see how this all shakes out over the course of this race. Pace car is going to pull off as we head into turn 4 this time, and it will in fact be 9 laps to go for these drivers tonight at Charlotte. It's all left to play for. Mark Whitley, 7th in Pro, 12th on the track, is going to have to drive his way all the way back up through the field here if he wants a chance at going back-to-back. Meanwhile, Christian Angel, Ken Huber ride it out on the front row ahead of Sean Kaiser and Sedarius Dias. Who is going to find their way in victory lane at Charlotte? We'll find out when the pace car pulls off here out of 4. It's Angel, it's Huber. Green flag is flying over Charlotte Motor Speedway, and it's a great jump for the 79 car of Christian Angel. Can Sean Kaiser find his way up to P2 here by the time we hit turn 1? Looks like he might. He will. He'll be clear of that 40 car of Ken Huber. Sedarius Dias slots in 4th, and you've got Cofield and you've got Libke 5th and 6th. Can Huber get that run going back on the top, or is Kaiser going to be able to hold him off down here on the bottom? We've got Dias, we've got Cofield behind this, with all eyes are on that battle for 2nd. Huber continues to hold that top line as Kaiser tries to get something going at the bottom. We've seen the top work for passes, but you've really got to side draft. You've really got to hurt the run off the corner. That's what Huber is trying to do, and it looks like he might get him there. Still side by side down the back straightaway. Not quite clear as Kaiser was able to keep a nose in there and get himself back down to the bottom in 3 and in 4. Side by side off the corner. This battle still isn't decided as we hit 7 to go. Christian Angel is trying to pull away for the lead of this race. He's steady out front as Huber and Kaiser, and now the 45 of Sedarius Dias, leader of your amateur class, tries to sneak in 3 wide. Oh my goodness, I don't know how that worked. I thought we were about to see a flip there for a hot second. Cofield's going to go under him, almost into the door of the 45. He has to back out, but now he's got the run off the corner as the 45 has to let out to avoid getting the wall. And Dias will lose 1st in AM, and he might lose 2nd in AM, because here comes Alan Smith in the 00, inserting himself up into this fight. Side by side still for P2. We don't have that decided yet between Sean Kaiser and Ken Huber in the 40 and the 46. Christian Angel is running away. He's opened up a 3.5 tenth of a second lead, while the battle for 2nd goes on, and the lead for the amateur class goes on as well. Cars in the wall further back. Ultimately, no caution. Under 5 to go now. Here comes Mark Whitley back through the field. That car has gotten up from 12th to 6th. He has 5 more laps on his fresh tires to try to challenge your leaders, and we're nearly 3 wide out of the corner there as Alan Smith made a lunge for it. Ultimately did not work out for that driver, but that was a close shave there for those cars. Whitley will now clear Alan Smith, your current AM class leader. That'll take him up to 4th, and as we hit 4 to go, he'll join the side-by-side battle, and he will shove Huber down the straightaway. That's huge for the 40 car of Ken Huber. He was locked in that battle with Kaiser, but Whitley has given him the shove that will get him at that position. The problem is, Whitley is going to be coming for that position here in just a second. He's up to 3rd, but he is not at all satisfied. He wants the win of this race badly. Kaiser drops it down behind him in P4, and Whitley will get that run up the inside. So as we take 3 to go in this race, Mark Whitley will take over P2. He has just under half a second here to catch Christian Angel Can he do it? This will be the battle for the win in ARCA East. Christian Angel with the advantage on the track, with the advantage by 0.4 of a second, but on 21 lap older tires. Mark Whitley doing everything he can on that fresh rubber to close the gap, and the gap as we exit turn 4 is down under 0.3 of a second. Whitley 0.2 faster that time. Here he comes in 2 to go. Closing up to the bumper of that 79 car is Whitley, but he's a little high off the corner. Scrapes the fence a little bit, and that'll hurt his run down the back straightaway. He needs to be there. He needs to be on the bumper of that 79 car if he is to take this win away. White flag, Christian Angel. Can he hold off Mark Whitley on 21 lap pressure tires? The 74 is there. He'll back up the run a little into the corner. He wants everything he can get on corner exit, and he is there. He'll switch it back down to the inside, side by side into turn 3 for the lead of the race, and Mark Whitley has the advantage. The fresher tires are too much for Christian Angel to handle. What a drive for Mark Whitley. He wins at Charlotte. AM winner is going to go to Alan Smith in the 0-0. Great passes towards the end of that race on Cedarius Dias on Mark Cofield in the 97 to give him that win. Ultimately, William Gregory took P2 home in that class. Alan Smith finishing 6th, William Gregory finishing 8th, but it's Mark Whitley leading 45 laps in P1 tonight, and he will get to burn it down here on the front straightaway. Listen to this. Dual burnouts here for your top 2 finishers of Mark Whitley and Alan Smith. Mark Whitley in the pro class, bringing it home first. Alan Smith, top amateur in tonight's race, bringing it home P6. Mark Whitley finishes ahead of Christian Angel by 1/10 of a second, and then back from there it's Daniel Cunningham, Sean Kaiser, Ken Huber, your top 5. James Goshen finishes in 6th here tonight. Actually, Alan Smith finishes 6th. He's not showing up on that graphic for some reason. James Goshen will finish 7th here tonight. Oh, this is the pro results. You know, that would make sense as to why Alan Smith is not on the graphic. That checks out. James Goshen is P6. Brandon Wallace, P7. Timothy Williams, P8. Ryzen Baker, 9th. Travis Bieber in P10. And then I believe he was your last pro runner who finished on the lead lap here tonight. Over in the AM class, you've got Alan Smith, your race winner. William Gregory brings it home P2. Mark Cofield P3. Jamie Libke 4th. Patrick Fuller 5th. Cedarius Dias tried to make a run there for the win, but ultimately finishes back in P6. It's Andrew Carnes 7th. Ricky Stisk Jr. 8th. Joseph had a strong run early, but he finishes 9th. Conrad Whedon in 10th in the amateur class. And then back from there, Colton Sisk finishes 7 laps down, and the cars failing to finish are Benjamin Richards, Kyle Deering, Doug Ellingson, and Joshua Unger here tonight. We're going to start interviews off with our pro class winner, the 74 car of Mark Whitley. How are you doing, Mark?
Doing pretty good. What about you?
Pretty good. What was behind that call to take tires there with just 12 laps to go?
Well, I figured me and my teammate there, we were on pretty much even stuff. I thought it was going to be really hard to get around them. I figured we'd been on those tires long enough, so I decided, all right, let's take a risk. I felt like a lot more people were going to pit than did, and thankfully we had just the right amount of people to pit, because if I'd have had to go one more lap, we wouldn't have made it. So it was just a gut feeling, gut call, just to roll the dice a little bit, and it paid off.
Man, how stressful was it when you were trying to drive back through the field there and get back to that lead?
It was a little stressful. I was trying to make sure I could, trying to make moves as I could. I didn't want to I didn't want to wreck anybody. So I was trying to be as respectful as possible. But then if I saw a gap, I tried to take it. I don't know what it was. These tires, like that first lap, once you fire off on cold tires, they do not want to grip. So I about busted my butt in the first lap, and thankful they got a lot more grippy after that. So it was just trying to figure out stuff, and it looked like some of them got together and slowed them up, and I was able to get around a few of them all at once. And after that, it was just try to get a run off the guy in front of me, and then Christian was just I knew he was going to be tough to pass. It was mainly I thought I messed up on with 2 to go when he aero blocked me coming off 2, and I kind of scraped the wall, and I thought, I probably won't be able to get back to him, but I was able to get a good run off of 4 and kind of do the same in 1 and 2 that time. I kind of learned from the mistake, and I just licked the stamp and sent it in 3 and 4. And once I cleared him, I jabbed the brakes because I didn't want to have a cross under on me, and he got a little bit of a run coming back to the line, but I was able to hold him off. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking there, to say the least.
Anyone you have to thank tonight?
Oh yeah, big shout out Harpoon Design, Brantley putting together awesome paint schemes for me and Christian. It does awesome work. If you need a new paint scheme made, check them out at harpoondesign.com. My other sponsor, Jawa, they're their #1 online shop for online gaming. If you need a new setup or just an upgrade, they're the ones you need to check out. They got the best deals around. Jawa.gg. All the league sponsors here, putting on a great broadcast for you guys. If I got to find it, Glove Station, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, all the wonderful people and sponsors that make this league go around. Wouldn't be here without them. I appreciate it. And one last shout out to Vector over there in Harpoon chat. I know he's always helping celebrate with us, and nice to have him on the team.
All right, congrats on the win tonight, Mark Whitley.
Thank you.
We're now going to roll over to our amateur class winner tonight. That would be the 00 car of Alan Smith. How you doing, Alan?
Man, fantastic. How's it going?
That was a crazy race there over the last few laps in the amateur class. You were sitting 3rd at one point, but you managed to sneak it out over Mark Cofield and get the win. How'd you manage that?
I had a late set of tires there. I took on, I've been saving them, and so I think I had a little fresher tires than they did, and then a couple of them hit the wall there, and I slid up behind them, and on that last caution, I was able to, with some help of some of my teammates, I was able to listen to them and stay on the high side, pass a couple of cars, and then just wrap the bottom, stay low, and I think my tires were just better than theirs. So good people, good guys, teammates there that I'm racing with and stuff, but it feels good to get this win.
Yeah, you were P2 last week at Texas. You won it here tonight. Starting to be a little bit of a championship contender. What's the secret behind that?
Just trying to keep my nose clean. I had the wreck at the beginning there. Just couldn't, I had to go in and get all the damage fixed, and just had to just be patient and avoid a couple of wrecks. Got lucky on a couple of those, and just buying my time, playing a little strategy with some help from my teammates, and so it was a good day. I had a good coach help me today a little bit, I have to say that. Taught me a couple of things about 3 and 4, and it really, really did help there at the end.
All right, anyone you have to thank tonight?
Well, I know my mom was watching, so we always think I've raced this race for her, so it's good to have Granny out there watching tonight. And I always thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for the eternal life that He gave me. But I just want to thank iRacing and thank Goat Locker for offering this Pro-Am series, which I absolutely love. And just so thankful that I can come in here and run this amateur series. Also, I'd like to thank Jam Printing and Promotions, Alexander PCs, Lincoln Tech, Save 22, and definitely Glove Station for sponsoring our series here. Appreciate you guys doing the broadcast so that Granny can watch this and celebrate with us.
All right, congrats on the win tonight in the amateur division, Alan Smith.
All right, thank you. Woo!
All right, and that'll be the end of our broadcast here tonight. Any final thoughts, Dave, from Charlotte?
No, this has been an incredible night. I think it's great that we were able to be able to get through both of these races with relative ease. And I mean, for my money, the Western Division was just a fantastic performance tonight.
I think the East Division was pretty good too. I mean, we had last lap passes, tight finishes in both races. It was really special. That is gonna bring an end.
Overall,
No, you're good. Keep going.
I mean, just to put the bow on it, I think overall to be able to cover both of these and bring all of that to all of these people, out here at YouTube, I just think is a fantastic feat by, of course, our producer, Eddie Smith. So a huge tip of the cap to him.
Yeah, great night here for our producer, Eddie Smith. Great job to cover both of those races. Well, for Eddie and Dave up here in the booth, and for everybody at Goat Locker Racing and V-Speed and all our sponsors, including Glove Station, our title sponsor here at the ARCA Series, I'm Scott Shrek. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to V-Speed, and have a great night.